It's Offensive Talk Radio with PD Flow and Mafia Life Chris.
What's up, bitch? Yo, move back a little bit. Let them see. Let them see.
That's right.
Let them see the God in the background.
Well, the Facebook Live is behind the scenes, behind the scenes, but we do have the magician in the house, audio, video.
Yo, move over a little bit, bro. Your head's blocking the Don. Please don't block the Don on the wall, bro. Please don't block the Don.
Please don't block the Don. Please don't block the Don. That's not possible without moving everything over again. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
I don't know what are you doing, bro. Just keep your fucking big head out of the Don's way.
I can't talk on the mic then.
Move the fucking mic over. What's wrong with you? That was fucking... Respect the Don. Look at the Don. We keep the Don on the back wall right now. It's official.
That's right. You,
I'm with him.
What's that mean? What's the I'm with him mean?
Oh, well, you know, all these bookyaks are with the I'm with her.
Oh,
I'm with her in regards to
Hillary
Clinton, which is incredibly sexist and unfair.
Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
and yeah, so that's the problem. I just think it's I'm with him, and I made a couple of memes yesterday. One is Bill Cosby. It's I'm with him.
Did you put
one is Ted Bundy? I'm with him.
Did you? Put,
I got cooking up a couple other ones, but I was beefing all day, and I was working.
Did you put it on the Offensive Talk Radio Facebook page?
No, I don't know. Whatever, because you know what? Here's the point. Now that it's a thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now it's a little more poignant. Or it makes a little more sense. You know what we'll have to, for the next segment, we'll have to move the thing over a little bit further to that side.
What thing over?
I'm saying the Don or whatever. I just heard a click. What was that all about? We all right?
Oh, no, I was just hitting the mic.
All right, good. Good for you.
It was like a fart.
Next time we'll just move it a little bit over here, and it'll sit like over here. Get the Don over here. He's over here now.
Did you watch the debate?
No, I refused to. I fell asleep at like 9:15 to Monsters and Mysteries.
How come you know we're going to talk about it on the show, but you don't care?
You know what? I just don't. There's no way anything that's going to be said or not said or whatever is going to alter what I think. So I just don't. I don't need to watch, a biased, ridiculous fucking.
Why is it biased though?
I don't know. From what I heard, the guy asked him 9 questions, asked her 2. Constantly interrupted him and everything. This is what I heard. I could be 100% wrong, but
yeah, there's a couple. Let me read you some bullet points that they talk about on the websites. All right, the moderator asked if she believed police officers were implicitly biased against African Americans, and Mrs. Clinton suggested that all Americans were susceptible to bias. I think, unfortunately, too many of us in this great country
the susceptible mean?
Jump to conclusions about each other.
Whatever. Whatever. I mean, I don't know.
When asked about race relations, Mrs. Clinton said that race remained a significant challenge in the country. You think race is a significant challenge? She added
race or race relations?
Race.
I mean, people listen, I'm explaining it to you very simply. Hold on. If you're asking me something, let's not go through them like a maniac on meth. Let's talk about it. People have been tribal for fucking thousands of years. People, it is what it is. There's bias, there's race. People are racist against everybody. Everybody's racist. Dominicans don't like Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans don't like Mexicans. Mexicans don't like Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans don't like blacks. Arabs don't like anybody, you know? Italians don't like Irish because it's just what it's been. People been tribal. It's called tribalism. People are just, it's the way it is. People act like the Native Americans. There was fucking like, they were all living in harmony. Like before the white man came. Those motherfuckers, the fucking such and such tribe killed off the other tribe for their fucking shit, and people just did what they. That's what it is. One fucking tribe hates another tribe. One religion hates another religion. One guy hates a guy for the color of his skin. One guy, people think this is a phenomenon started by white people. It's stupid. No one's saying that people aren't racist and there isn't ridiculous racism in the country, but in the history of my life, I work with a bunch of people. I work with this very wise, old school Jamaican guy and this Pakistani guy. They both said America is by far the most tolerant country in the world. They both said it's too tolerant. And both of them specifically said you're too tolerant toward gay people. This is two people that the left would stand up for, would take a bullet for. Told me that you're too tolerant. I know they don't count, but trust me, these are two of the wiser men I've ever met in general, not just Jamaican or Pakistani. So.
Stevie Gates is in the house always on the Facebook Live.
Let people know we'll be taking phone calls soon. We're going to be taking phone calls. Anybody who wants to fucking call in, we'll put the number up. And, it's first come, first serve.
Cold Shoulders in the house, too. You see I'm rocking the do. You know
the do.
I mean? That's
the
right.
Do.
Yeah, the do, because it goes on the hair. Get it?
I know.
I just made it up.
And I'm rocking the Cubs hat because it's Go Cubs. That's
the do. Listen, let me continue. Mr. Trump said Mrs. Clinton doesn't want to use a couple of words, law and order, and then he defended stop and frisk, police strategy. Clinton said it doesn't work, and that's why it was unconstitutional. And he pretty much said that it was, it should have been appealed, but it wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. First off, I'm no fucking constitutional scholar or anything, but I guess I can see the point of you just rolling up on somebody and just saying, "Hey, let me search you." Like, you know what I mean? Where you could see how somebody, if a what's the word? Disappropriate, whatever.
See,
I know. I can't say the word right now. Disproportionately, is that it? I'm gonna keep going.
I'm a fucking bumbling idiot too. I'm a bumbling idiot too. Numbers, go completely, where they target black and Latino. But I think it's more you're going to go to. I think it's more about that you're going to a high crime area. Like, no one's disputing that Mill Basin doesn't have as many drugs. It's just that nobody's killing anybody on a corner over them. Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Like, there may be as many drugs in Mill Basin or the whiter neighborhoods, but those guys in the black neighborhoods and Latino neighborhoods are killing each other over it. So, yeah, they're going to there's people shooting each other on corners that don't happen in white neighborhoods. And I know,
We could take phone calls for those who are on Facebook Live, obviously, because the finished product that goes on the website is not live. So those who are watching us on Facebook Live, we are taking phone calls. The number is 646-250-0761. You could call in 646-250-0761. Stevie Gates, you give us a call, man. Stevie Gates says it does work. Stop and frisk does work, and he can prove it. I would love for you to call in and talk about.
Now, hold on. There's something that he said one time, because I remember talking to him one time, and he made a good point that sometimes, not sometimes, but since these guys are trained, they can see a guy who's walking weird because he got the gun in his pants.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They can see somebody by their body language, which, of course, some bleeding heart jerk-off who's taught, black people, they don't want to believe that that's a possibility.
Right.
That somebody can just say, I can tell.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I have a sense about it. But that's where it gets to the thing where, like, well, does that mean you can violate my rights?
No, people will talk about right, but what rights?
Unlawfully stopping somebody and detaining them for no reason. Like, you're not allowed to.
No, what they're worried about is that it leaves the door open for a cop to say that he has probable cause that really isn't there. So if I say I got probable cause, now I'm able to frisk you. Then I could say you got something bulging out of your pants. And I think it's a gun, but yet you didn't. I could lie. In other words, it's giving them too much power to lie about it. I brought it up on the Facebook page.
Fuck it then. But that's not uncommon. But if somebody
Tony Finelli said that's absolutely what I'm saying. But the cop's bias is not even on a conscious, pre-planned level. He was telling me that I only lived in the outer boroughs of New York City. For 12 years, he lived and worked amongst poor white trash drug dealers and hardened criminals, meeting up in person to conduct interviews. His job solidified for him what his social psychology education taught him. Whites are just as prevalent as any other minority race to commit crimes. We have the fortunate pleasure of being a member of the number one race when it comes to the ruling class of this country, historically speaking. There's no implicit racial bias against white people. If there was, all the jails and all the prisons across the country would be filled with equal parts of every race because we are no better than them when it comes to committing crimes. But he was trying to make a point to me that it's bias, and the reason why it's bias, or the proof that it's bias, is that the jails are filled with, No,
I'll say it again. I'll make a point again. He's 100% right in the fact that white people do. First of all, there's one thing he's wrong about. Black people, per capita, are much more likely to be shooting people. They're 50% of the murders are black people. That's 30 million of the people. They represent 30 million people of the people in the population, yet they commit half of the murders. They when it comes to shooting people per capita, black people have a much higher rate. I mean, that's a fact. When it comes to murder, they have a much higher rate per capita. Think about it. 50% of the murders are committed by 12% of the population. Like I said, white people are doing much more drugs than fucking black people. They do it in their fucking house. They do it in their parents' garage. They do it they're not out on the street corner the same way. Like I said, you go to Mill Basin, 100% true. There's fucking, over here, people will be doing drugs and doing shit, but they do it in their homes. Over here, we didn't shoot. You're right. We did do as much crime. We didn't fucking kill each other. We weren't shooting at each other on corners. People fought one-on-one. People weren't shooting. The black community has a problem with that. They shoot each other more. We don't fucking shoot each other like that. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not the same fucking shit. Not per capita, not per citizen. It's a fucking fact. It's not like we beat the fucking shit out of each other. We do as much drugs, if not more drugs. We do them in our fucking houses. We're not on the fucking corner the same way. Right. We were on the corner when we were kids, you know what I mean? But nobody shot nobody. There were one-on-one fights, you know what I mean? It wasn't rampant robberies where your grandmother couldn't walk down the fucking street.
I walked the street smoking a joint and got told to put it out, step on it, or eat it, or something stupid like that by a cop. But, I mean, I don't remember getting randomly frisked. Is that a beeping in my ear? Is that you?
No, that's me. Okay. I'm sorry.
Right.
Dude,
Stevie Gates wants the number again. You could call into the show today. If you're on Facebook Live, you could call in. If you have something to chime in about, it's 646-250-0761. The number is 646-250-0761. If you could put the number in the Facebook chat room for me, somebody, do me a favor. Once again, 646-250-0761.
Sorry, that was me.
Frank Tamaro says, explain this to me, why black kids aren't graduating high school. Hold on.
We got a
phone call. The first phone call on the Offensive Talk Radio.
The great Steve Gates is calling in. Yo, Stevie, you there? Talk to me, you prick.
I'm here, buddy. I'm here.
It's Petey Flo. What up, my brother?
What's up, bro? What's going on?
Happy belated birthday, by the way. Stevie Gates' birthday was last week, so.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
What's up, Stevie? How are you? Welcome to Offensive Talk Radio again.
But yeah, he's alumni because he called in before and he's hosted also.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
He's like the fifth Beatle. So,
what? You got something to say about Stop and Frisk? You said you could prove that it works.
It does. It absolutely does. When it first came out, it was an excellent tool. I do have to agree that it probably took off in directions. The public wouldn't be happy with, even the cops weren't happy with. It became such an abusive tool to a numbers game. And, the cops were getting demands from the sergeants and lieutenants. Go out there and
right.
What was happening is cops are basically just tossing everybody just to make their bosses happy. It's ridiculous.
And, I heard, I don't mean to cut you off, but I heard from cop friends, like, I want overtime, so this bag of weed, I would just write a ticket for. I'm going to take this guy in so I can get overtime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's abusive shit, but that happened to white people too, so whatever, yeah. I heard stories like that.
Stevie.
You touched on the disproportionate numbers, and many years ago, when Al Sharpton was crying about the blacks being targeted, Hispanics, the feds did a big study, and as it turned out, this is a fact, as it turned out, the Asian community were actually being stopped disproportionate because they make up such a little percent of the crimes being committed. You know, there's not many Asian people compared to, maybe blacks or whites, at least in New York. But as it turns out, because they commit such less amount of crime, they were actually being stopped more. So if anybody was being targeted, according to this study, it was Asians. So the whole theory about the blacks and Hispanics being targeted is an outright misinformation and downright incorrect.
You know, the guy who's talking about it is a guy named Tony Finelli. He's on Facebook a lot. He's an offensive talk radio listener, and he's an avid, commenter. And I'm happy that he gets involved in the conversation and stuff. But what he's trying to say is that he was trying to say that the police, not only the police, but in general, that people are racially biased, almost like subconsciously. You know what I mean? Like that. Black people were doing the same crimes as white people were, but black people were being were being stopped and frisked over that crime, but the white person wasn't.
Pete touched on something before, which is very important. The blacks make up only 12% of the population, but yet they're committing over 85% of crimes, especially violent crimes. So I'm not good at math, but if you do the numbers, that's a pretty massive number when you look at the ratio compared to whites and how many crimes they're committing. They only make up 12% of the population, yet they're committing 85% of the crime. That's like for every white guy, like I said, maybe 8 or 9 male blacks or female blacks are committing crimes. So can you imagine if they made up 50% of the population, if they were just half, how many more crimes would be committed? The numbers are there. You can't deny those facts. So when you're a cop and you're working in even let's say the 6A precinct, many years ago it was predominantly white Italian. I myself, guys, we all grew up together. I had my share of getting tossed on the corner Avenue and Harris Street. Guys are smoking weed, doing what they're doing. If you're hanging out in the corner that are hot, no matter what neighborhood you're in, you're going to get stopped by the police.
You know what?
I did just
like Bed-Stuy and Bushwick and Crown Heights and Red Hook, where where a lot of crimes are being committed in the projects and low-income neighborhoods. It's not the white kids on the corner that are committing crimes. It's just not. You know what I mean? So even the small neighborhoods that have a small portion of blacks and Hispanics, they're the ones statistically committing the crimes. So cops are going to be targeting those areas. You're going to get those 911 calls for white kids hanging out smoking, but they're not committing the violent crimes. That's a fact. So, yeah, maybe subconscious, but a lot of it is, just reality, what you see in the streets and the reasons why you're going to target these guys is because they're outright committing the crimes, and that's what the people are pulling up on, for the most part.
Frank Tamaro on the Facebook page is kind of like mimicking what you just said as well.
Well, I just want to say, fuck everyone complaining. I mean, I've done jail time. I'm a violent felon. I've done jail time. I have a B felony on my record. So people saying it doesn't happen to white people. White people don't get arrested. This kind of bullshit. It's it's nonsense. White people get arrested when we do something wrong. We get arrested. I mean, I don't know. I've been arrested like 5 or 6 times. No, I don't get no fucking... When I hear someone say that shit, it makes me crazy because you're talking to a white person who's not only done jail time and probation and been arrested a bunch of times. So, kind of aggravates me specifically. And I'm no saint and I'm no holier-than-thou guy. I'm just saying, stop the bullshit with the misinformation about stuff and the dividing people among racial lines. Get off the corner, stop committing crimes, and you won't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? It's that fucking simple.
I know. I'd love to. I don't know. I sound racist. I'm not a racist, but I'd love to.
Better be careful, motherfucker.
I'd love to do a reality show where we take a black guy who is stopped and frisked randomly way more times than he thought that he was going to be, and put him in a really nice neighborhood with low crime, to see if he would get, stopped randomly and frisked.
Yeah, he would probably. Yeah.
So he's getting stopped because of the color of his skin then.
Because I guess someone will say, why is he here? And hold on, and let me break it down, because people will say, oh, gotcha. Right, they might stop a black guy walking in Mill Basin, but they will be just as likely to stop me if I'm in Bed-Stuy or I'm in Brownsville and profile me as a drug addict or a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is this white kid here?
Absolutely.
It's what they do. It's what they're paid to do. Why is this like white kid here? Like I go to this place for my job. I go to this place to pick up. I'm not going to say the name. I pick up material all the time. Now, I see a bunch of low-life looking white people there. If I was a cop, I'd be grabbing them. I'd be like, look at these white trash bums. You see me there, you see, a guy in a work outfit, why would I grab him? Same thing in Garrison Beach. There's all the build it back shit. There's all kinds of black guys working on houses. No one's bothering them. But if they see, maybe a suspect-looking black guy, yes, I'll say it, yeah, they'll bust their balls, just like they'll bust their balls if they think I'm copping in a black neighborhood.
I listed a couple different examples of probable cause, because people, obviously, if you smell pot, then you can pretty much frisk somebody, right?
It's tough because when you can smell pot from a block away. So
yeah, but
it's
but Stevie, can't I say, hey, I smell pot on your breath?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Right? Or what if you got a duffel bag? Can I think, that's suspicious? What do you got in your bag?
Yeah, if you're a towel head, then the motherfuckers be like, yeah, that's suspicious.
What if you're not? What if you just have a bag?
They'll think you're Joe Pesci?
Can I check your bag?
He said duffel bag.
Steve, can I check it?
As long as they smell it, they can search you, especially like in your car too. Like if they smell weed, they can rip up the whole car anywhere they believe or reasonable belief as to where that marijuana cigarette or bag might be. They can actually rip up the whole car.
Go, Steve, my bad. No, you go.
It's like if they find a bullet 38, and they can search anywhere in the car they believe a 38 caliber gun to be. And of course, we know cars these days, you can hide a 38 anywhere. No, you know what I mean? So it all sorts, search. It's like probable cause as to where they believe that gun or marijuana could be, and they could basically rip.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, I see what you're saying.
I'm asking you if I give you example. Let me know if that's probable cause.
Can I just end the whole thing by explaining very simply? They can just say that it is.
Can you stop somebody because they got a duffel bag?
They can just say that I thought there was something, I saw something. So you understand what I'm saying?
No, but without saying that, Stevie, can you stop somebody just because they have a duffel bag?
No, not unless it's. Like I know with the terrorism alert awareness now, they have checkpoints at like train stations. They can search your bag.
No,
I can't walk up to you without reasonable suspicion that you're committing a crime or about to commit a crime, and I just can't search your bag for no reason. Unless, let's say, I suspect you, like you came out of an alleyway, and hey, how you doing, sir? Do you live here? No, I don't. I might have reason to believe that you might have burglar's tools, is what they call, a crowbar, something in that bag. Maybe if you're looking into cars. Maybe you're looking to rob a car, but if you're walking down the street, I have no right to stop you and go through your bag. Absolutely not. No. It's a violation of your constitutional rights.
Let's hold on. I agree 100%, but all they have to do is just say, I saw a bulge, I smell the smell. They can just say it.
They can.
That's all I'm saying. They can, and I think that's the problem.
I think that's what
that people have.
I think they don't want to give the cops the power to be able to do that, and not only that, but I believe that they suspect that is going on.
Of course, it's going on
towards black people biasly.
It's going on in general. That's what I'm saying with the fucking black people. This and the black people. So far, we're getting to a point now where we got to do everything for 320 million people based on 30 million people. It's getting a little out of line. It's getting a little out of line now. Like De Niro said, it's getting a little out. You're getting a little out of order yourself because you're getting a little out of order. You're getting a little out of order yourself. All right, drinks are on the house. All right, you know what I'm talking about. Talking to you.
Stevie Gates,
Now you
can't leave. Let's do every cliche Italian reference we can find. On the day of my
Hey, here's another quick thing I want to throw you guys to real quick. I don't want to hold you up. But I've been in court before where, let's say, summonses are being answered to. And let's say I actually personally observed this, where you had 15 black kids go up. And the summonses were like urination in public, drinking in public.
We've all got those, by the way.
See, criminal court summonses, right? Now, 15 guys I counted, all dismissed. And rightfully so, it's all bullshit.
Bullshit.
Piss and drink, it's all bullshit.
Make them just show up,
But then the white guy gets up in a suit and tie, and they're like $50. Why? Because the guy has a job and knows who's going to pay. You want to talk about discrimination? 15 black guys get someone to dismiss the drop of a hat. The poor white guy gets up, he's having a beer coming home from work, and he gets the $50 surcharge ticket. I've seen it, and we were like amazed by this. And you talk about discrimination and people who get targeted. It's like they forget about those little things.
They forget about a lot, or it's not mentioned. But last time I got arrested about 3 years ago, and you get to that last holding cell before you go out to see the judge. And right. I saw two women beaters, including one who beat up his pregnant girlfriend, and a guy who got caught selling crack, get ROR'd. Like, you know what I mean? Release on, ROR, release on your own recognizance, no bail, no nothing. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, these things, they'll talk about the guy who gets screwed, then they'll talk about the thousands of guys that the last couple of days that just got let go. Like beating women. They just beat a woman. That's why I say the war on women's being waged in the courtroom, because nobody gives a fuck when you beat a woman, apparently. Whatever.
Guaz, call back.
Call back.
Stevie Gates, we love you. We got to let you go.
Yeah, good luck, guys. I'll be
all right, later, bro. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Right, thanks. Thank you, brother. Bye-bye. See you, guys.
Guys, the number to call is 646-250-0761.
Get prepared for some full-level Mongolian nonsense, some Mongoloidian. The great Mike Wastel is making his triumphant return.
Yeah.
Although via phone, which means, you know what? Guaz is calling, which means we're going to have to delete this whole episode. We're going to have to hire the people who destroyed Hillary Clinton stuff to destroy our camera. All our phones are going to have to be destroyed. That's it. Well, I don't know if we should take this phone call.
Tamara wanted the phone number, too. It's 646-250-0761. Call now if you have anything on Stop and Frisk.
Or whatever. Even the debate. If you got something to say to the debate, whatever. We were on those topics. Whatever. It's all good.
Absolutely.
So if you got anything to say, otherwise... here's the point. I see both ends of the spectrum when it comes to the constitutional and unconstitutional. I see both ends of the spectrum. I'm not saying, no, it's perfectly fine. Do it. I'm saying that it can be abused. Oh, here we go.
Another phone call.
THE head, Mikey Guaz calling in. Hello.
Welcome to OTR. Hello.
This is Guaz.
What's
Hi,
up?
how are you?
Alumni.
Yes.
What's up, Mikey Guaz?
What's going on, fellas?
Welcome
to the OTR for life.
Let me ask you a question. Are we going to have to destroy every file after you call in?
Jesus.
We have to call in.
I prefer the hammers, too. Get your hammers ready.
We got to call Hillary Clinton and Tom Brady's.
Dip everything in cyanide. Don't leave no pieces with the hammered pieces.
Tom Brady people who broke up his cell phone or whatever. Everyone, my phone is a goner after this.
What do you got?
It all boils down to this, fellas. We've gone at it. I gotta let you know. You know where I work, and I'm not gonna. That's part of the reason why I left everything. But listen, they got command centers all over the place where I work. It's mobile command centers. It's due to the crime. They're gonna go to the areas where the crime is at. And it's more. And you hear people on TV, on Facebook, on all these different social media feeds talk about how black men are targeted. Well, you know what? If there's not so much crime in your neighborhoods, there'll be less of police presence and less of a chance of an interaction. It's more of an urban thing. These people, you're a white guy like Pete talks about. He's been arrested a few times. We're white guys. We're not like he said it in the past shows we were on. We're urban white guys. So we have more of a chance of being... I got ripped out of my car by... I'm not going to say a detective who used to come around. Ripped out of my car, punched the ribs.
Was it Stevie...
against the car because
was it Stevie Gates?
Was it Stevie Revo? Yo, Frankie Tamaro, we're on the line with Guaz. We'll get to you.
Murphy, the ball Irish cocksucker, Murphy. But listen, if you're depending on where you live, there's going to be more of a police presence. They're not walking around all different areas, driving around looking for black guys to stop and frisk. You know what I mean? It depends on where the crime is at. And you don't need a mobile command center in your neighborhood if they're not shooting off guns.
Bro, listen.
You know?
If there's a cockroach infestation in your house, you go for the place with the most cockroaches. You don't go for the place with the least amount of cockroaches. You go to the place with the most amount of cockroaches.
Oh man, this show is so racist.
It's not racist. Whatever. Listen, call me whatever you want. People hate the truth. That's always the biggest fucking problem in this fucking world.
Yo, I got a question. You is Domenico the puppet there?
Domenico the puppet, he's actually sleeping right now in a bed with 10 other Dominicans.
Wow.
How many pairs of socks between the 10 of them that I have? 3?
He's got maybe a pair. Two pairs. From Telco Discount.
They rotate them.
It's all about the area and the demographic of where the crime is. Like I said, you don't have crime, you don't have extra cops in the neighborhood, and you have less of a chance of police interaction with those cops because they have to. People brought it up in the past in prior shows. You gotta protect innocent grandma.
Right, your wives, your kids, your aunts, your cousins. Not fucking ain't worried about me and you. We're worried about them.
Guaz, did you watch the debate?
Of course he did.
Debate? What kind of debate?
The mass debate.
I'm gonna give you my OTR, old school alumni, quick.
Yeah, please don't drag this out. We have multiple callers who called in.
All right, they can all blow me because I got the.
I know. I'm sure this is gonna be cutting edge, original stuff.
Yes, Hillary was smoother. She was coached. She was cool, calm, and collected. Trump sounded like a child, but
she's more polished. She's much more polished. She's been like 18.
Well, she's a politician.
She's a politician.
That's true.
She's more polished.
Going back,
she's polished. She's politician.
Going back to her Senate, running for Senate day, she's had tons of one-on-one debates. He didn't have one-on-one debates.
I mean, she went toe-to-toe with Obama in 2008, and he gave her a good run. The problem is, I got listen. With all Lester Hall, everyone's crying. Oh, he did interrupt Trump. I don't believe in the Mongoloid conspiracy theories because I have been known to Mongol out and go a little.
No, not at all. There's nothing Mongoloiding about you.
I gotta be honest, but no, I give her points for the calmness, the cool, calm, and collected. But he didn't hit back. For instance, I'll give you an example. When she said, nobody talked about this even on TV.
The cyber hacking?
She said, you call women pigs, and he brought up Rosie O'Donnell, and which is true, she's a big fat pig.
She's a big fat pig. Is that a lie?
He should have answered back. He should have said, well, you want to talk about the treatment of women, Hillary? And I was drinking while I was watching this with my wife. I'm not a drinker, but I was.
Well, you had to be drunk to watch that pile of horse shit.
I had to get ripped to watch this. And bottom line is, he should have hit back and said, well, your husband does not have a track record with treating women the right way. And you said yourself, if a woman says something, you have to believe her, unless, she's sucking your husband's cock. So, your husband doesn't have a good track record with the rapes and the accusations of all this other shit. And she's an enabler just for the political narrative.
He should have put he should have put Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones on them in the front row like WWE style.
He did have
He dropped the ball with that.
He had one good.
He dropped the ball. He wasn't polished. He came off, but I gotta
move to the side. He's still the Don. No,
he's
still
not
the Don.
He's not a politician.
All right, we got that joke the first 6 times you told it. I know. He finally came up with something funny. Now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it till St. Smithens Day.
Guaz. He had a good one. He said that he was boasting. He was boasting about his campaign travels. He said, "You've seen me. I've been all over the place. You decided to stay home, and that's okay." And I thought he really got a good there.
He also got a good with the email, with the response to the emails. He had, a businessman objective in business is to pay the least amount of taxes and make the most amount of money. And what he should have said was, it's my job.
I'm not trying to get out of paying my fair share of taxes, but I want to pay the least amount. I even said within the law. I do what I got to do within the law. But you know what? He's right about the black community, and Republicans have not reached out to the black community in the last 54 years. Are they right? This regurgitation all the time.
I don't know.
But they have not reached
you
out.
haven't reached out. I don't know. That sounds like something off a meme.
He's tried to reach out a little bit. He needs their. Think about it though. It's only 12% of the population. How much of the black vote do we really need? We need the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans and the Mexicans. we need Dominica's
he said
people.
we.
Yes,
but anyway, I just want to call in and give my support to the OTR family. I give my love to you two jerk-offs, because you're still two jerk-offs, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, but that's
since we're talking about Donald Trump, I just wanted to tell you something. You're fired!
It's like Vince McMahon more.
I'm on OTR unemployment.
Okay, let Tamara call in. I love you, Guaz. We'll talk to you soon.
You guys too. Do me a favor. Kill yourselves.
Thank you. We will.
That's original.
Now we have to.
Never heard that one before.
Now we have to. Now, he made a big deal about the taxes. Let me ask you something. If you're a millionaire, if you have a big business, and you have the ability to find loopholes or write off or breaks or whatever you can so that at the end of the year you break even, you wouldn't do it?
Of course.
That's business. She called him on it, and he said that's business, All
right, I think Frank Tamaro's calling. Are we taking it?
Yeah, we take Frank Tamaro.
All right. Yo, Frank, you there?
Mr. Tamaro, what's up?
Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
What's up, bro? How you feeling? It's PD Flow.
Welcome to OTR.
Thanks for letting me on.
All right, what do you want to talk about? Stop and frisk or the debate? Or whatever?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about something that you brought up the other day, Peter, that one of the common things that you hear is, how come when blacks are in a police encounter, we never get taken alive, and everyone else, we end up getting killed, and
yeah, right.
Yeah. What? I get your point. That's their argument, right? That they're always dying in the.
Apparently, every black person I've had a police encounter has been murdered.
Or even the guy that set the bombs in New York and Jersey, he got taken alive. Didn't they shoot him like 11 times?
They shot him at least 11 times. I don't know. He must be tough. I don't know. What do you want me to say? My wife 2 times me? I don't know. You know that line from Goodfellas.
It's true.
And I think a lot, as far as these police encounters go, is a lot of it, gets going, with a lot of the attitudes towards the police. Like, as soon as they pull them over, and it's like,
he said that.
I saw one guy going like, "Oh, holster your weapon!" Like before the cop even got to the car. He's like,
we saw, in that video, I kind of was on that guy's side, but he did come off like the cop was a dick, but he was a dick also. And it's like both sides could be a little cooler in that encounter. Like that's the perfect example of 2 idiots that are going to create. And by the way, the cop was Latino, and the other guy was black. The civilian was black. So once again, I don't know what the fuck that got to do with white people, but they'll paint that as a white guy because he's not black, or you know what I mean. Which is bizarre to me, but I don't know.
I don't know if you guys saw that case that happened in Baltimore with the black girl, Corn Gaines.
No, what happened?
Which one was that?
She's the one that got shot by the SWAT team. She put a kid in the middle.
Oh yeah, the one with the one who was not. They were gonna tow the car and she wouldn't get out of the car. That girl, right?
Yeah, I mean that girl had the biggest attitude.
She was like telling the kids to not submit to the cops. You'll never be able to make it in this world. All this kind of stuff.
If he comes in this car, you better fight his ass.
Yeah, this kid was like a little, like 4-year-old or something.
That's fucked up, man.
He's telling him he'll never be able to.
Little baby in the car seat, in the back seat. You don't know what the hell's going on.
They're killing people who look like your father.
That plays a role in it too, because I know when I was brought up, my father said straight out, do whatever a cop says, because if he wants, he could beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, right.
It's very simple. You listen to them because they can do whatever they want. And I didn't give a shit if it was.
But that might be the problem, though. The people saying they shouldn't be able to do whatever they want.
But the thing is,
they shouldn't be able to do whatever they want. that's part of the.
I don't know.
That's part of the problem. I'm not saying act like a jerk off, but I'm saying I think part of the equation.
I'm not saying to fucking put your finger in a girl's vagina. I'm saying fucking
what did that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying
that's called a non sequitur where I'm from.
No, I'm just saying I'm not saying a cop should have the power to grab a fucking girl, do something with her, or to go kill somebody for no reason. But if I tell you to fucking put your hand against the wall, put your hands up and get against the wall, I want to frisk you to see if there's something wrong. You just do it.
That might be my move if I was a cop.
And the cop actually went above and beyond. She was like, "Let me see your ID." And he's like, "I don't have to do that," but he did it anyway. He went above and beyond for to show her, his ID.
No, yeah, she's a cunt. That was a miserable cunt. That broad.
Yeah, so that I see your point though. The point is that a lot of times, as soon as the cop is just literally just on scene, they're having some kind of confrontation where it's like, why do I got to show you my ID?
Social media is corrupting people's minds and thinking that they can just do whatever they want. That we live in some anarchist world. Meanwhile, they'll be the first one calling the cops.
Believe it or not, I think a lot of times you take the attitude away. Those confrontations probably go nice and easy, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, most likely. I mean,
think so too.
I've been treated like a jerk. Last time I got arrested, which was 3 years ago, the cops were treating me like absolute dog shit. I'm not going to lie, they were treating me like dog shit, and I was being very submissive. But I just kept being submissive because the cops said, "I'm going to slam you on your head if you don't stop fidgeting." I stopped fidgeting. I mean, I'm being dead serious.
I'm not going to say all cops, should be cops. There are some cops that are assholes.
No, yeah. The guy, but I'm saying I stopped fucking fidgeting, and I got locked. I went to the priest, and I went to central booking. I spent a couple of days in central booking, and I got bagged. Let's be honest, and I went with it because I got arrested and I got caught doing what I was doing, and I put my hands behind my back.
I guess he
still said I was fidgeting, even though I fucking guess I was a little nervous, but I stopped fidgeting, and that was the end of it.
I guess there's a little bias in everybody, not necessarily police, but just everybody has a little bias sometimes. I do not 100% think there's really much wrong with it. I would give my, family member, a favor before I would give somebody else. There's always that feeling of like, a hook or, and stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't like somebody and it sucks. Law enforcement need to be a little more careful because there should be, fair across the board. Maybe there could be a little more education and help, 50-50. But it's not as crazy, in my opinion, as what it seems, what people are made to be.
Agreed. I agree.
No,
Frank,
exactly. There's nothing to suggest like an epidemic, like some people are saying.
Right. So, but Frank, listen, thanks for calling. We're gonna move on. I
Thank you so much.
All right, man.
I really
later.
appreciate that. I tell you the truth. We didn't have much time to.
Well, we'll get to it in the next.
To the next show. But we had more topics, but that's good though because this went the right way, and
we'll be back with a part 2 in a little while. We'll do it with just a Facebook Live.
Absolutely. Big shout out again. I didn't know if we wanted his name to be known, but a big shout out to who I'm calling the magician, which is the audio video guy who's making things happen. The first episode is going to be launched. It's I'm proud of it.
Yeah, this came out good. The calls came out good. Everything came out good. Hopefully, we didn't see the video yet, but hopefully that came out good. Or I'm gonna throw the camera against the wall.
It'll get better and better.
Beat up people, including.
Thanks for the participation on the Offensive Talk Radio page. Also, we're out. Offensive Talk Radio.